Hey everybody, this is my Black Ghost Knifefish tank, and recently I made a change to the lighting. I went from 2 fixtures to 1, and I went from having one up front and one in the rear to one straight down the middle. And I like the way this tank looks, and I've been looking at it, but I've also been thinking about the shrimp that I got the other day. I got a bunch of shrimp that are loaded with berry, or shrimp eggs, and I always wanted to see if I could just ever get them to hatch and have a bunch of baby shrimp. I normally put them in my brackish tank. The shrimp do really well in the brackish tank, right up until the point where my puffer eats them, but shrimp do well in brackish water. I have never had the eggs survive, however. If they've ever hatched, they've never made it enough that I've ever seen the tiny little shrimp swimming around or anything. So the other day I brought some shrimp home, and they were with berry. And I put them in my snail tank thinking they would survive in there. And then, of course, it occurred to me that they're going to eat all of my snail eggs and I won't have any snails anymore. So I then decided that they're going to go in this tank. So we're going to go ahead and put 3 of the big fat shrimp that were in the shrimp snail tank in here and see what they do. I don't know if they're going to survive very long or not. I would imagine the Black Ghost Knifefish will come out at night, make short work of them. And as I kind of suspected, they just sort of vanished into the tank. I can see one down there sort of making its way into the cave where the Black Ghost Knifefish usually lives. So that probably does not bode well for that shrimp. I can also see that the big rock in the back is knocked over. Not sure how that happened. It must have been me the last time I got in there. Probably when I got in there and I adjusted the cave system over here. I moved this all around. I knocked into that wood quite a bit, I'm sure. And by knocking into that forward piece of wood, it bumped into that one, which in turn knocked over that big piece of rock in the back. You can see that smaller rock is sort of the prop rock that I had the other one on top of, which gave me sort of a second layer of caves. Actually, now that I'm standing here looking at this, let's reach in there and pull this one out. We don't really need it in there. It never really served any purpose. It just creates more cave space in there, so we can get rid of this one altogether. Come back for that one later. And I can get rid of this one too, actually. So you can't really tell the difference, but it opens the tank up more, and that will be more for the free swimming fish. The Black Ghost Knifefish just hides in the tank, you know, in the caves in the bottom. And I used to have my striped Raphael, my Synodontis Eupteris and my Tenopoma were in this tank. Once upon a time, this was my African tank. And I had the multiple stories like that so that the Black Ghost Knifefish would have a cave to hide in, along with the Synodontis, who at the time was much smaller and could easily fit in the caves in this tank. So that's why I had it stacked up like that. And again, now that I'm, looking at it, thinking about it, I just really don't need all those extra layers of caves and everything in there. It just makes it that much more difficult to keep this tank clean. So there you go. Not a lot to this video. I kind of knew once we dumped those shrimp in there, they were going to sort of vanish. I guess you got the bonus look at me pulling some rocks out. That's always fun. I don't really know what else to say. I was kind of hoping maybe a little bit of activity might stir up the Black Ghost Knifefish, and we might get a little glimpse of that. I will give you a teaser and say that I bought some new plants the other day. I've got them in a different tank that just got some new lights on it. And I'm hoping maybe those lights will provide enough energy for these, I can't remember what they're called. It's some kind of crypt, and it's a really compact plant, and it's really red. So really compact and really red is probably a good indicator that it needs a lot of light. And I don't know how well it's going to do, but that's in my 125. And we will probably get some video of that coming up here in the fairly near future and get a look at what that looks like. We're going to give it a few days to let it either take or not take or see what happens before we go doing any video updates on it. So anyway, if you're subscribed, you won't miss any of that or anything else. Don't forget, this one here is my Black Ghost Knifefish tank. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you real soon on the next one.